Salam everyone. So in this lecture, I want to talk about a very important concept that I've been hearing all along, and so have you, I'm pretty sure. And here's the question. The question is, why did not Prophet Muhammad wrote down the Hadith or Sunnah or any other writings? Okay, a very important question because obviously the Quran was being revealed and it was being recited and it was being written down at the same time, was being compiled at the same time during the life of the Prophet. Okay, and the Prophet was not illiterate, right? Despite many ahadiths you find that it was an ummi, so to speak. The Arabic word ummi means illiterate, but that's not true, especially if you read the Quranic context. So we understand that the Quran was being revealed in stages and it was being compiled, and it was fully compiled as a book during the life of the Prophet before he died in 632 AD. Now, the question is, why did not Prophet Muhammad leave us or leave mankind with any other book other than the Quran itself, right? Maybe a booklet, so to speak. Because according to many common questions such as why doesn't the Quran tell us how to pray, right? Well, we learn it from the Prophet, that the Prophet taught us how to pray. Well, if that was the case, then why so many different kinds of prayers that we have and all these different kind of sects, or sects that we have rather, that you know have all different kinds of their own ways of doing things. And even though the Quran clearly goes against forming sects, right? But in any case, that's not the main topic here. The main topic, I want to stick to just the one thing, the one question that I've been asked several times is, why did not the Prophet leave us with a written form of a booklet, or maybe an important terms or explanation of certain topics within the Quran, right? Well, we know that the Quran is consistent, we know the Quran is complete, and so did the Prophet. He knew that the Quran was complete. But let's dive deeper into the question itself and try to find why the Prophet did not choose, right? And the word is choose or wished for creating a booklet or writing something down, because all these hadiths comes from maybe 200 years later, right? So it's not the Prophet writing these, it's just hearsay. All right, so what I did was, there's a nice site called corpus.quran.com. You're welcome to go to this site and kind of search for yourself. So what I did was I searched for the root word for ha, wa, and ya, right? So that's the wish or the desire, okay? So I did a search and I came across through the entire Quran. This is an excellent site, by the way. The triliteral root ha, wa, ya occurs 38 times in the Quran in 5 derived forms. So those of you who know Arabic grammar and understand, perfect. That's wonderful. If not a problem. That's exactly what I'm going to explain. So it's 8 times. The root word occurs 8 times as form 1 verb, once as the form 10 verb, 17 times as a noun, 11 times as a noun, and then once as an active participle. And at the bottom, you'll notice it'll gives you the details. Let me, in fact, make it bigger. Zoom in a little bit so you can actually see. There we go. So once again, 8 times as form 1 verb, once as form 10, 17 noun, 11 times as noun, and once as an active participle. Now if I scroll down, you'll notice that the verb form 1 means to desire, right? So it's an action. And here are all the verses in the Quran that contain this particular word in verb form 1, which means desire, desired, incline, or perished, and so on. And if I scroll down further, and again, you can take a look at this, but I want to pinpoint a certain example here. Among all of these verses, okay, one particular verse starts with the word qul, okay, which means say thou. So now God is instructing Prophet Muhammad to say, okay? And if you have not watched my video on why the Prophet, why the Quran says qul 270 times in the Quran, right? So you can watch that. I'll put a link here in the description so you get a better understanding of why God is instructing the Prophet. Like say thou, and why God is not directly speaking to mankind. Okay, so again, that's a separate video that you can watch. But here it just says, قُل لَا أَتَّبِعُ أَهْوَاءَكُمْ قَدْ ضَلَلْتُ إِذًا وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُهْتَدِينَ, which simply means that, say thou, I will not follow your wishes, okay, or your vain desires. Otherwise, I'll be in, uh, uh, like I'll go astray, and I'll be not one of those who are guided. Okay, so that's what this means. So now the prophet is saying, say thou, like God is saying, Qul, O prophet, say thou, la attaba'u ahwa'akum, means I will not follow, right? So he's not going to follow the vain desires of people, and that's important. So the rest of the verses, of course, they just start directly with not following vain desires, and there's a whole list of them that you can kind of take a look at. And those of you know who read Arabic, that's fine. If you do not read Arabic, perfect. All you need to do is just simply right click and open this in a new tab, just like this. If I navigate to the new tab, you will see the actual verse and then the translation as well. So the verse that I clicked on was chapter 6, verse 56, which says, Qul, say thou, indeed, I have been forbidden to worship those who invoke besides Allah. Say, I will not follow your desires, for I would then have gone astray, and I would not be of the rightly guided. Okay, so you can kind of take a look at that too. So the important thing, let me go back. Here is the fact that all of these verses that contain the word ahwa'ukum or any form of this particular root letter word is instructing or letting the prophet know not to follow either your own desire or people's desires. And that's the main reason why he didn't write anything. Okay, that was the fact that the Quran was complete. It was a complete revelation. It was a complete book. So the prophet did not want to write anything down besides the Quran, okay? Let alone explain the Quran itself, because Quran is self-explanatory. We don't need someone to explain the Quran, and the prophet simply recited the Quran. It was a complete revelation. So why would he then explain the Quran? All you need to do is just ponder on the Quran itself, and you'll get all the answers that you're looking for. It's a complete book, okay? And in fact, this book challenges mankind, okay, to make or bring forth the similar kind of book if anyone can. And obviously, um, that has not been the case so far, right? So this book is complete and it's consistent, contains all the answers that anyone wants to look for. This book is for mankind, by the way. It's not only just for Muslims or any other sect. It's just a book of guidance for everyone. Therefore, you'll notice talks about, vain desires of nas, which means people, right? Mankind, not just a particular group of people, like mushrikeen or idol worshippers or Jews or Nazarenes or any other group. It's just for everyone. Okay. So when the Prophet is saying, for instance, "Fajal afidatan minan nas," right? Tahwi. So it's talking about mankind here. Similarly, most of them contain, if you look at each one of these, and I'll let you research if you really are into a greater understanding of the Quran itself. So the Prophet Muhammad did not say anything outside the Quran, and that's proven by the Quran. All of these verses, if you read, it just says, do not follow their desires, right? Their desires. Because what they were desiring was to change the Quran or say something that is at par with their wishes. And that's not the case. The Quran itself is very clear. Okay. And again, the whole list of verses, I'm not going to go on each one of them, but the point that I wanted to make is the fact that Prophet Muhammad did not do anything outside the Quran. He could not have written down any other books or booklets or supplementary guides for mankind to follow the Quran. The Quran is complete, it is self explanatory, it's in fact quite simple. And that's what the Quran says. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ. It's made it easy. Allah says, God says, I made it easy, right? The Quran is really easy. All you need to do is just take a look at and understand the context. And in my experience, most times when you read the Quran, you don't, first off, you don't understand what the Quran, what the verses are saying. And even if you were to take a look at the individual verse, you miss the entire context. And thirdly, you also miss who God is actually talking to. In other words, who's the audience? For instance, the audience could be munafiqun, right? Or could be the mushrikun, the idol worshippers, or the Jews, or the Nazarenes, and so on, right? Or people at large, or the Prophet himself specifically. Let me give you an example here. Let me see if I can find a verse that talks about what I just mentioned. Okay, so like right here, like I mentioned, so this is now for the mankind, right? So let me go ahead and open this and let's see what it says. So here's the complete verse that contains this word tahvi, right? Say, Our Lord, I've settled some of my descendants in an uncultivated valley near your sacred house, your Lord, and that they may establish prayer. So make hearts among the people inclined towards them, and provide for them from the fruits that they might be grateful. Okay, so this is Abraham, verse 37, chapter 14. I think it's the third person feminine singular imperfect verb. So similarly, again, you get the idea, right? You can take a look at this. Let me see if I can give another example specifically to their desires. And again, all of these verses, for example, where the noun occurs, it says, like do not follow their vain desires. So, Prophet, do not follow their vain desires. Similarly, truth has come to you, so do not follow their wishes. Follow the truth, right? Follow the Quran, follow the verses, follow the law of what Allah is providing us. Similarly, a whole bunch of them. Okay, so I welcome you. Take a look at it. If you have any questions, post in the discussion area below. I'll be happy to answer and clarify any of these verses within its context. So the Prophet, bottom line, could not have invented, right? Yaftarun means invent, nor he could have used his own vain desires or wishes to create something, to invent something. Okay? Typically, people invent afterwards, right? For example, we have so many inventions, which is called bid'ah, right? According to the Quran, because the word is being used in the Quran also, by the way. So we create so many things that is actually not instructed by God, either to the Prophet or to people or to us. Even if you were to follow the Prophet, which we have to, right? Wati'ullaha wati'ur Rasul, or wattaba Allah wattaba Rasul, means listen to the Prophet when he's reciting the Quran, right? And believe in the Prophet. And of course, follow the Prophet. Okay? So I'm going to make another video on what does it mean to follow the Prophet. Typically, it's follow the way he slept, follow the way he ate, follow the way he, did stuff. And that's typically not the case. Okay? Follow means follow what he is saying, follow what he's doing, right? So he's following the Quran himself. He could not have followed his own veins or desires. So if that's the case, and that's why he didn't write any booklet, right? There's no other guidance but the Quran that he left us with. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, once again, post and I'll be happy to answer. Assalamu alaikum.